With the list of final elements getting very short, it is back into the fixture for some final touches on the headstock casting. Although it's not on the print, I do believe it needs to be on the model. I am going to put 256 threaded holes right above the spindle bores, so I can put some oiler cups on there. And this guy back here gets a 172 threaded hole for a locking screw for the back gear shaft. Straight up, 3 holes, 256, 172. Successfully machined. This is what the headstock casting looks like when you get to walk away. 256 oil cup holes over the main spindle, 172 cam locking screw for the back gear setup, V notches in the bottom, mounting holes, reverse cluster on the end. Time to make some oil cups. A little bit different than the steam engine. I think these are going to be more round profile than chamfered. We're going to add one final detail to the headstock before we call it a day and come along for the ride. I will probably fast forward most of this, but for anybody that didn't get a chance to see the entire steam engine series, this should be a lot of fun, so hang in there. Let's do it. Because space is at a premium on any scale model, these oil cups are going to be extremely small. This is a 256 thread here. This is an 0.85 diameter, which is just over 2 millimeters in diameter. And I'm going to go about 2.5 millimeters long initially, but I will cut that back at the end. Once I have the thread diameter established, I'm going to back out just a little bit, and I'm going to establish an ornate diameter that will ultimately become a flange on the top of the cup. You can't have a flange if you don't remove the material below it, because you just can't add a flange. Working through a 5-power Bosch & Loam eyepiece right there. I'm going to put a small chamfer on the front and a small blend where the threads meet the body of the oil cup. Keeping everything nice and clean. Setting the threading tool, setting the stop for the carriage, because I like to thread out and I like a hard stop, so I'm going to bump up against it, set the depth, and then tighten down the stop on the ways. All is well. I always back the tool off and check my rotation, check my feed before I engage. That way there's no surprises. This is a very superficial thread. It's only about 18 thousandths deep from contact. And you're going to see me shut the machine off and run it in reverse as well. If you're going to deburr a thread, deburr it in both directions so you're not rolling the thread back into itself and just keeping little hairs that are going to come and get you at the end. I do have a 256 brass gauge that I made. Controlling the parts, it's okay to make your own gauges. This is, I believe this is an 030, about a 0.7 millimeter high-speed steel drill, and I am floating that in with the little floating adapter that I made in one of my other videos. Gets great feedback. I'm going about 6 millimeters deep with this, about 1/4 of an inch. That should be sufficient. I've got to remove the stop so I can get the carriage close enough to do the remainder of the work. And we're going to do a partial part plunge here. Come back in with the 45-degree tool, put a chamfer on the back side of that as well. Take my file with the safe edge, and we're going to round it off just a hair. Clean it up, shine it up, because that's the last time you're going to hold it in this orientation. Put the parting tool, or there, excuse me, I'm taking another 25 off the front. That is about 0.7 millimeters. And this is being done because the cross section of the head is much thinner. Deburr it to make sure you didn't roll any of the brass back into the original thread. Check it one more time and part it off. Real time so far, 13 minutes. 13 minutes total. And no cup is complete unless it's hollow, so we're going to spin it around and put it in a 5/32 collet. That's a 156. That is about 7 millimeters, 6 millimeters, 5 millimeters. I'll get it right. Hang in there. 156. Oh man, it's too late in the day for this. Let's go to the video. It is just under 4 millimeters. All right, I'm going to make contact with this drill, and I'm going to feed it in very slowly until I see the footprint in the face of the part the same size as the drill. Right now, I am zeroing out my dials on the tailstock. And back off a little bit, and a continuous feed so I get a nice finish inside the cup. I will go to depth. I'm going to a 117 depth, which is just about 3 millimeters deep, and the drill itself is about 3 millimeters in diameter. The little hole that came through from the other side is allowing a real easy push on this. And be careful when you're cutting something with such a thin wall that the pressure from the collet doesn't choke the drill, because you've removed all the support material that the collet tension was set to. So be very careful about that. This is a 3-corner high-speed steel deburring tool, and it's a fantastic tool for doing just what I'm doing. Putting little ornate radiuses on, deburring, etc., etc. Keeping it clear, I'm going to roll a piece of emery into a small cone, feed it down inside the part, and in one step I will deburr the edge, blend the edge, and shine the inside. Done. All right, guys, the final installation of the oil cup. The threads are superficial enough that they do not interfere with the main spindle. They do have a 3/4 millimeter diameter hole running through to the bore. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments about the wicking material you can put in there. You can put a piece of felt in there, put a piece of cotton in there, whatever. But this is also not on the print. This is a 256 thread going through to the spindle. And I did see this somewhere else before. I really admire the feature, and I think it adds a little bit of pizzazz to it. I may have to cut the ridge on this one down just a hair, because it looks to be bigger than that one. Might be the chamfers that are lying to me, so we'll find out at a later time. It does look thinner. Anyway, hey, I'm only human. There you go. That is the oil cup edition. The headstock is complete. There's nothing else I'm going to do to this. That is as done gets. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you saw me do this on the steam engine and watched it anyway, thanks again. Thank you to all my patrons and to everybody that leaves comments, likes, and subscribes. Go buy Advanced Innovations, Austin, Texas. I'm out. And I'm not alone. Look at this. Yep. We're just going to leave him be. He's happy. I'm happy. Now I'm out.